Alright guys, we have a new blog post from Bungie, and this one is about accessibility. Titled Colorblind Settings, Revamp, and More Accessibility Changes. Now it's really interesting that we actually have this right here, considering Bungie just talked about last week banning third-party softwares and hardwares, including the likes like Zim and Cronus. But here from the Destiny 2 dev team, accessibility in games is a necessary initiative, but overall, it's still a relatively new conversation in tech. More and more studios are working toward a common goal, making games that people can enjoy. That includes all people with all sorts of accommodation needs. While the work toward a more accessible game takes time, patience, and a keen understanding of different player types, the important thing is that the work continues. Guided by one of our internal initiatives, Accessibility at Bungie, the Destiny 2 team has been hard at work developing new features designed to keep accessibility at the forefront for all Guardians. From a revamp of how colorblind players can experience the world to going ham with Fists of Fury, here are just a few of the new features that we've been hard at work on. Let's start with our revamped settings and how you can customize your own experience. Settings glow up. Starting with Reticle Changes. Oh, please Bungie, I want my reticles thick. In Season the Deep, we are adding an enemy targeted reticle color. This setting is designed to complement the current reticle color setting by allowing players to select the hue of their hipfire reticle that they see when aiming at an enemy. Now this change will be particularly helpful for those players with color blindness. This new color setting also applies to the headshot dot and hit indicator UI elements. Peek at the updated menu setting below. Oh wow. So we got more colors, but notice right here, first up, you got neutral reticle color and targeted reticle color. Neutral being you just literally sitting there holding the weapon. Targeting being when you're actually aiming down sights at an enemy. Now currently in the game, we don't have any changes to when we aim down sights. It's the reticle that's default in game. So you can either utilize the same color or you can have something completely different. And again, keep in mind, this is going hand in hand with the future changes that Bungie are going to be bringing about when they overhaul like the feedback of our reticles from the hip. So when you're moving, when you're jumping, your reticle placement, the feedback that you actually get from it, it's going to be more accurate and theoretically should be easier for us to get a read on mid gunfights. Now Bungie continues, when this new enemy targeted reticle color setting goes live, most players won't notice a difference as the default value is the same red color that they are used to. Because players now have a much wider range of colors to apply to the targeted reticle color, we have removed the color applied by changing colorblind settings. People who use Deuteranopia and Protanopia, probably killing both of those words, colorblind presets, will likely want to update this new setting to the new orange color. We hope the increase in options alleviates the one-time setting change for these players. In addition to adding the new enemy targeted reticle color option, we have unified reticle indicator functionality across PC and consoles. We're excited to hear what you all think about this change next season. All right, so again, guys, most people are not going to notice this change as the default value is that red color, but you'll be able to go in there and actually change this. And I like this, guys, because I don't know what it is. Over time, I don't know if my eyes are just getting old. Red just doesn't pop out for me. Sometimes I like to change it up though. Like no lying, I've been rocking like that bright green for a long time now. And for some reason, it like helps my eyes stay on targets. Now moving on to full auto settings. Just in time for the glaive nerf. In Season 19, we introduced a full auto setting as described in the Season 19 weapon swap. This is now called full auto firing. See below for why. Now this setting allows almost all weapons to continue firing as long as the trigger or fire button is held. This is likely familiar to most players, but is included here for completeness or if you missed it when it shipped. Honestly, a great feature. One day we're gonna be able to tell our grandkids how we used to have to use a mod to give us full auto. Now full auto melee settings. Next season, we're adding a full auto melee setting. This upcoming change allows players to have full auto mode for melee weapons, including swords and glaives, power melees, unpowered melee attacks, and melee attacks while in a roaming super. Now this setting will repeat the melee attack whenever it's available as long as the melee or fire button is held, depending on the type of melee attack. You can actually see it right here, guys. Full auto melee, you'll be able to toggle on and off. Unfortunately, our glaive builds are absolutely shite. I was looking forward to this. I just wanted to poke enemies in full auto, Bungie. Now confirm and cancel toggle settings. We're also adding a setting for players to swap which buttons are used for confirm and cancel within the Destiny UI when using a controller for Season the Deep. All right, rejoice my controller players. There's also going to be a new subtitle color option that enters chat. Another part of hearing accommodation changes that we've been working on is something as simple as text. What does it look like? What color is it? What size is it? In the next season, players will be able to further customize their HUD experience with the ability to tweak the below components. Look at that. Size, color, oh, even style. Look at that, background style. Interesting. Now the text color setting has changed from a carousel left to right navigation to a drop down. Tinted rectangles have been added to replace the text so players can preview the color exactly as they will see it before making a selection. selection, matching the pattern used for reticle colors. And a yellow option has been added in addition to the default yellowish yellow. What? All right, so like even, oh, okay, more yellow. Well, I guess in this case, yellowish. Now, commendations. A peek behind the development of commendations. From the start, accessibility has been an important cornerstone of Destiny 2's commendation system. Destiny currently supports 4 different visual color profiles, so fine-tuning a suite of colors for our needs as a feature that also met the needs of our players proved to be challenging, but worth it. Originally, we were looking at ways to simplify our palette so that it worked across the board, but that would limit our visual design and could potentially lead to clashes we did not anticipate or expect. You'd be surprised at what colors are reserved for specific aspects of Destiny 2. Instead, we explored ways to tap into a system that already existed, but was not exactly utilized for a full-feature UI implementation. Then followed up to define new constants for our needs and apply our additions to commendations. Similarly to how gear rarity color changes, our commendations also shift with each setting. This means that whenever or wherever you are viewing commendations, those colors all abide by the color preset you choose to play with. We even got creative while authoring the variety of cards, breaking up the assets into manageable pieces that we can then apply a corresponding value to at runtime. Some examples for those of you who play with the color presets off, which is default. You will notice there are not a ton of differences between them, but for those who require a distinct color preset, the level of contrast surely does help distinguish one category from another. Oh, all right. I see, Bungie. Exactly what I wanted with my commendations. Colors. Actually, I do like this third one. Look at that. Look how bright the green is on for Ally. That looks good. Now, regarding VFX, a key part of the commendation experience is the post-game Carnage report screen, where you can actually hand out the commendations to other players and shower them in sparkling explosions, themed to the category of commendation they have received. We wanted to make sure all the efforts we made in coming up with the colorblind profiles for the UI elements were also respected when it came to this system. To do so, we tapped into the same system we use on a few other VFX systems, such as raid mechanics, and enabled the commendation VFX to change their colors based on the current colorblind settings of the player. By building the system as a template, we were able to tweak and modify the colors across every single particle just by changing the values on these 8 nodes, making implementation quick and easy. All right, below you can see the results of this effort. From first to last, explosions for mastery, fun, ally, and leadership commendations will play, and you can see how each colorblind profile setting changes them, some slightly, others in huge ways. All right, looks good. Again, I know this is not the update we wanted to see to commendations, and we will have a video on how to make commendations better. With that being said, this entire blog post here is really just showcasing accessibility changes, hence the title, and Bungie literally just saying, hey, listen, we've got settings for all players. Now, as a final note here from Bungie, that's just a few of the things we've been working on behind the scenes to make the world of Destiny 2 a little more accessible for all Guardians. Gaming is for everyone, and while making a live game more accessible is an ongoing challenge that can take a great deal of time, we are completely committed to ensuring that Destiny 2 is a place where every Guardian feels welcome. It's a big reason why we started accessibility at Bungie, and why we'll continue to share resources and explore improvements behind the scenes. All right, well, there you go, guys. Again, the big one out of everything here today, for me, reticle color changes, both from the hip and when aiming down sights. That's huge. That may seem minor to some of you, but that is a big deal for me. And of course, the full auto melee setting. By the way, these things are going to be rolling out next season. And even though Bungie took a big old shite right on my favorite glaive builds, I'm actually looking forward to full auto meleeing opponents with syntheseps, right? Can you imagine that inside of PvP? Or even things like knockout. Just simply lay on the melee and start rubber banding all over the place. Well, guys, that is your blog post. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you haven't seen our video breaking down sandbox changes, we did an entire breakdown on that one of all the various weapons that were included in the buffs and changes. Feel free to check out that. A link to that video will be in the description below. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.